Hi, I am so glad you're here and I am so glad you opted in for this free training video. I am so excited to share this information with you. My name is Priscilla and I am the founder and creator of Soul Power with Pris. The program and method that I've created is a revolutionary approach to well-being. So let me tell you a little bit about the Jungian life coaching difference. I hold a master's in clinical psychology with a concentration in spirituality, mind, and body. My master's is from Columbia University in New York, so my academic foundation is rock solid. I am extremely passionate about psychology and finding the best and most effective ways for us to heal. And on my journey to finding the best ways to help myself and others reach their greatest potential, I also got a certification in Jungian life coaching, which is a bit different than the classic style of life coaching. Jungian life coaching adds in a bit of more unconscious element using shadow work and a holistic approach to help you create the life of your dreams. So with my background in clinical psychology and Jungian life coaching, you have a synthesis of deep academic understanding as well as spiritual insight that makes my program extremely distinct and extremely effective. There are therapists and then there are transformational guides. While traditional therapists may help you navigate challenges, as a Jungian life coach, I assist you in transcending those challenges. I help guide you towards a deeper understanding of yourself. I take this journey inward with you by diving deep into your inner world, understanding it, adding clarity and purpose to that journey. I pave the way for you to have a life that is full of fulfillment, balance, and profound inner peace. Now, for those of you who don't know, I definitely wasn't always the leading expert in helping women manifest their dream life with the SoulPath OS method. I myself struggled with negative thoughts that were constantly overwhelming, not only my mind, but my overall energy was always quite scattered and stressed. I would constantly engage in self-sabotage and bring that into every relationship that I had. And ultimately, I kept struggling to find the right therapist. I kept going through this trial and error with different therapists, trying to find somebody who could finally get to the root of what I was really struggling with and what was happening on a deeper unconscious level. So I definitely understand the struggle of trying to find the right therapist for you. And what I want to share with you today are the 5 most common false beliefs that my program addresses head on to give you the least time consuming and the most effective ways to heal and really start thriving as soon as possible. False belief number 1 is that traditional therapy, which focuses on diagnosing and treating disorders, is the most comprehensive way to treat mental health. That's a myth. The truth is that the most effective therapy focuses on improving psychological well-being, which encompasses a lot more aspects of you other than the traditional therapy approach, which has always had the goal of an absence of illness. And recent forms of psychological thought have shifted that. And so rather than focusing on, for example, reducing your symptoms of depression, other psychologists are now focusing on increasing happiness. And in that way, the byproduct of that work is less depression. But this is not the traditional focus of therapy, right? This comes from a very recent new form of psychological thought called positive psychology. And from that school of thought, we get the idea of psychological well-being, which encompasses the following: internal awareness, which is your ability to recognize your own emotions, motivations, and patterns of thinking. The issue with a lot of us is that we're completely unaware of our inner worlds, because if you really think about it, so much of our lives and so much of what we do day to day is outward focused. How often do we listen to internal stimuli? What is my heart feeling in this moment? What is my gut feeling in this moment? We spend very little time focusing on the inner world and just kind of focusing on our phone, our job, our kids, and whatever is right in front of us in the external world. So we improve your internal awareness. We also improve resilience, which is your ability to bounce back from adversity, adapt to challenges, and thrive amidst difficulties. This is actually one of the highest factors that determines life satisfaction and overall happiness. Research has shown that those with high resilience also report higher level of happiness than those who have a lower resilience, right? So your ability to say, even though unpleasant things are going to happen in my life, I am able to count on myself. I am capable of going through any difficulty is this characteristic that we call resilience, which we work on improving. Another aspect of psychological well-being is positive relationships. We recognize in psychology that there is such a need for us to have social connection with other human beings. What we work on is helping attract those positive and supportive relationships into your life and hone in your ability to not only choose the right partners, whether it be friends or romantic, and maintain those beautiful supportive relationships. The fourth aspect is self-acceptance. This means holding a positive attitude towards yourself, embracing your personal strengths, and accepting imperfections. And the self-acceptance piece is extremely important for you to feel good and for you to attract the right type of person into your life, because you won't be able to attract somebody who accepts you for you if you didn't accept you for you. Fifth aspect is autonomy. This is your sense of control over your life and making decisions based on personal values and beliefs. A lot of times we either have difficulty making decisions or we make a decision and we don't stick to it, right? This is the source of a lot of the anxiety or even sadness that we might feel because we don't have a strong sense of self-trust to say, I'm going to make a decision and I'm going to stick to it. And I know I'm capable of dealing with whatever comes out of my decision. We work on increasing your autonomy. And lastly, we work on clarifying your purpose in life, which means we help you find your direction, meaning, and motivation for day-to-day activities and long-term goals. Okay, so your purpose in life is what's going to fuel the fire that you need to wake up every day and do the things that you actually want to get done. So having clarity of purpose is extremely important when it comes to a lack of motivation or a lack of willpower, because once you have that clarity, you'll find a new spark towards the life that you want to create for yourself. Improving psychological well-being is not merely self-improvement. It's a commitment to yourself to have a life full of purpose, connection, and joy. And to further solidify the importance of improving psychological well-being, here's a bit of the research on people who have high psychological well-being versus those who have a low psychological well-being, and how it improves areas of your life that you might not necessarily expect improvements to happen in these areas. By just improving your mind, you will also experience better physical health. Those with high psychological well-being have a stronger immune system, lower blood pressure, and a longer life expectancy. Number two, once you work on your mental well-being, you're also going to be more productive. Who wouldn't want to be more productive, right? The research shows that if you have high psychological well-being, you'll be more productive at work and in your personal pursuits, right? So anything you want to do outside of work will also have higher productivity levels. You can finally be able to focus, problem solve, and collaborate more effectively. Third is higher likelihood of positive relationships for those with a high psychological well-being. Having good emotional internal awareness enhances your ability to communicate, empathize, and most importantly, build lasting positive connections with others. Number four is more life satisfaction. And I don't know about you guys, but I have personally been in a place in my life where even things that should be making me feel good don't necessarily feel as satisfying as I would want them to. I've been in a place in my life where I have low life satisfaction, where nothing really seemed to be enough to make me feel good for an extended period of time. If anything, I felt pleasure temporarily, but nothing would lead to a lasting sense of satisfaction. And working on your psychological well-being shifts that. False belief number two. It is a myth that your conscious thoughts and behaviors are the main determinant of your life choices and experiences. What you are currently thinking and doing is not causing the results that you see in your life. The truth is that most of our behaviors, feelings, and patterns stem from our unconscious mind, which means they're out of our awareness, which means that your life outcomes are a result of thought patterns and belief systems that are out of your awareness. Almost like you don't necessarily have control over those life outcomes because they're coming from this unconscious mind. The research shows that about 95% of our daily decisions, emotions, and actions are driven by our unconscious mind. So since most traditional therapists will work on a conscious level. It's really important to tap into this unconscious level because, as I mentioned, it is the source of a lot of the life circumstances that you're not happy with. Okay, the research actually shows that understanding and integrating your unconscious beliefs, which is exactly the work that we do together, leads to improved well-being, which we now know is very important, and healthier decision making. In Jungian psychology, we believe that integrating your shadow or your unconscious dark side can lead to greater self-awareness and wholeness. This is specifically relevant to attracting the type of partner and the type of relationship that you want. It's important to acknowledge and accept your dark side because that person is also going to have a dark side, and it's important to bring awareness to that to be able to have a healthy, cohesive relationship. False belief number 3 is that meditations, affirmations, and gratitude practices are feel-good techniques without tangible outcomes. Some of you might believe that these are just nice little activities with a temporary good feeling. That's not true. Actually, the research shows that those practices can be highly beneficial for your mental health when they're incorporated systematically, as is provided in the Soul Power Journal. It gives you kind of that structure to do meditations, affirmations, and gratitude. These tools can actually be extremely transformative. They not only provide temporary relief, rather they foster lasting change and an overall sense of inner peace, which is an extremely attractive energy to have, versus if your energy currently has a sense of inner stress and inner anxiety on this sort of hamster wheel that we all live on. Having the sense of inner peace is not only going to set you apart from other people, but it's also is that inner calmness, that inner kind of silence of all the voices in your head that really paves the way for you to live a fulfilling life. A Harvard study found that meditation can physically change your brain in just 8 weeks. The study showed that meditation improved the areas of your brain that control memory, your sense of self, meaning self-esteem or self-confidence, and empathy. Secondly, self-affirmations can enhance problem solving under stress and increase self-confidence. 2 things that are extremely useful on a day-to-day basis. And lastly, gratitude practice has been shown to reduce stress and improve sleep. I find gratitude extremely powerful because of the positive emotions that it elicits within me. And positive psychologists believe a happy and satisfying life is built on small moments of positivity that you insert into your day, right? So having meditation, affirmation, or gratitude is a great way to insert those small moments of positivity, and slowly those build up to create a positive life. False belief number 4 is that self-improvement is about discipline, rigorous routine, and pushing oneself constantly to the point of discomfort. A lot of us have a belief that the kind of tough it out mindset is the best way to get the results that you want. And my approach is slightly different because we really focus a lot on increasing your self-love and self-compassion. The truth is that lasting growth stems from a foundation of self-love. It's from the wellspring of self-love that we can create exactly what you want in your life. Our self-compassion workbook isn't about taking the easy way out. It's about understanding that only with true compassion can we navigate challenges without leading ourselves to burnout, right? This is the issue with the tough it out mindset, is that you're actually never satisfied. You never feel like you're enough. And that's going to lead to burnout. A self-compassion mindset helps you feel complete in this very moment and helps you expand your potential without coming from this place of lack. Rather, it's simply an extension of the love you have for yourself. What would your life look like if you cultivated more self-love? Well, according to research, you would have higher resilience, increased happiness, more wisdom, and less anxiety and depression. I don't know about you, but having your level of happiness kind of outweigh any levels of anxiety or depression that you might have sounds like a really wonderful goal. And this is what we can get to by working on your self-compassion. Okay, the last and final is false belief number 5, which I'm quite passionate about because I have heard this quite often. People believe that time heals all wounds. You don't need to actively address your problems because they will sort themselves out eventually. Unfortunately, that is not true. While time can provide perspective, it doesn't resolve underlying issues or break deeply embedded patterns. these issues usually happen during childhood and they are very hard to break. And you carry them into adulthood. And unfortunately, the time that's passed doesn't make a difference. You are still carrying wounds that have now been there for 10, 20, 30 years that are unaddressed and still affecting your life. By not actively seeking growth, you risk remaining stuck in cycles of unhappiness and dissatisfaction. It's important to take action for better mental health, because if you don't, you might miss opportunities, have deep regrets, and have lower life satisfaction. Taking action opens doors to transformation, deeper fulfillment, and the actualization of one's potential, which is one of my greatest passions in life, is seeing other people reach their greatest potential. It's such a beautiful thing. And although it does take some action steps to get there, the cost of inaction, in my opinion, is much greater. And what does the research show? Well, the European Journal of Personality published research showing that those who actively address challenges and engage in goal-directed behavior report higher levels of life satisfaction, which, as we mentioned, is extremely important. And on the other hand, research in the Journal of Behavioral Decision Making suggests that individuals stuck in repetitive unconscious patterns tend to experience feelings of regret, stagnation, and, as I mentioned, reduced life satisfaction. So unfortunately, the idea that you don't have to take action to heal wounds because time is going to do that for you, unfortunately, that's not true. You do have to take action to heal these inner wounds and imagine the type of life and the type of person that you can be without those wounds holding you back. Because of the previously mentioned passion that I have for psychological wellness, I've created the SoulPath operating system, all-encompassing method I've created that is at the basis of my coaching program. And together, we improve your psychological well-being, which, as we discussed, isn't just a pleasant state of mind. It's literally the foundation upon which a thriving, vibrant life is built, without the lingering doubt that therapy is only for those with severe issues. It's not. Everybody could increase their psychological well-being, or that you should just get over it on your own. It's really healing to have a connection with another person who can provide a safe space for you to be vulnerable. And from that experience that you learn to have with a therapist, where you feel seen, heard, and validated, you don't need a therapist forever, but I do recommend having a guide to help you in this transformative process, as it is quite difficult to do on your own. The SoulPath operating system is a holistic approach because it includes not only weekly therapy, but also meditations, a personalized journal, and a workbook full of psychospiritual tools that are highly effective based on scientific research. Effectiveness is extremely important to me, which is why I look at the scientific and psychological research behind everything I do, because adding a holistic or spiritual element to psychology can sometimes be seen as not substantial. So adding in these research elements helps solidify the evidence as to why these psychospiritual tools work. I provide this structure and these tools for you, so you don't have to be overwhelmed by piecing these disconnected strategies together on your own. And it eliminates the fear around the common therapy approach, which is monotonous talk sessions without actionable steps. And lastly, through these comprehensive tools, you'll dive into a transformative journey, unmasking the unconscious beliefs that are the true saboteurs of your thoughts, behaviors, and the adversities in your life, without the fear that therapy might be ineffective or merely a temporary fix to deep-seated issues. The unconscious work we do can never be a temporary fix. The unconscious work allows us to do deep healing at the root of what's causing dissatisfaction in your life. Whereas other forms of, for example, life coaching deal with a more conscious level of thinking that gives you some really great action-oriented steps for you to find solutions in the moment, but unfortunately is going to lead to repeating patterns because you didn't, cut the tree at the root. And to tell you a little bit about how the SoulPath OS has been extremely helpful and transformative for some of my clients, I want to tell you a little bit about one of my clients, Sky, who went from debilitating anxiety constant stress and worry. Her energy from the get-go always felt like extremely very high strung and was always worrying and planning and really, really liked to be in control. She felt disconnected from herself, and she would always engage in people pleasing to the point of self-sacrifice. And 4 months after working together, she finally had boundaries rooted in a deep sense of self-respect and self-protection. Now she finally knows her worth and recognizes who in her life values her for her and not for her people pleasing. Now she experiences infrequent and manageable anxiety and stress. She's established a routine that prioritizes her me time, which is something she was never really able to do before. And she even has time to paint again. A creative outlet is extremely important for better mental well-being. She now has an overall aura of peace that's a complete 180 from who she was 5 months ago before we started working together. And this is a bit of her testimonial. She says, I've tried quite a few self-care therapeutic options before, but none have been as effective as working with SoulPower Coaching Co. and Priscilla. Priscilla has mastered a perfect combination of caring personally about me and my troubles while challenging me directly to question old patterns and habits. She is excellent at adapting to my mood, and even on days where I feel like I don't have anything to talk about, our sessions are productive. She's pleasant, funny, and genuine. Self-help journeys are never easy, but having a guide like Priscilla makes healing easier. I would highly recommend her and SoulPower Coaching Co. Another case study from another one of my beautiful clients, Claudia, went from severe depressive thoughts that were constantly dominating her mental chatter with self-deprecating and critical thoughts that led to low self-esteem and identification with her inner critic, right? She believed that she was the voice in her own mind, telling her all these hateful and critical things constantly. 4 months later, Claudia was able to separate her true self from her inner critic. That voice doesn't always necessarily belong to us. And she realized she's not a self-hater at heart. She was able to discover the beautiful, confident, and self-accepting self beneath all the depressive and critical thoughts that dominated her energy most of her life. 6 months later, Claudia has finally manifested a beautiful relationship with a partner who accepts and loves her for her, flaws and all, something she could never attract before because she didn't love her whole self until now. This is a bit of her testimonial. Priscilla is not my first therapist or coach, but she is the first to help me break through past traumas and has been a fantastic guide as I work through some very difficult things. She's a fantastic listener, holds space for you, and creates an environment to be fully open. She is thoughtful, kind, and genuine. She feels like a trusted friend I can be open and vulnerable with. I look forward to our sessions, knowing I will come out with a new perspective regardless of what we discussed that day. Priscilla's grounding presence is priceless. Partnering with her would benefit anyone looking for support. So at the crossroads of life, every individual has to face a choice. You either take proactive steps towards mental health, healing, and increased well-being, or you remain in repetitive patterns and unconscious behaviors. There's no in between. The research is unequivocal. Embracing habits, routine, emotional mastery isn't just about success. It's about choosing a life of happiness, fulfillment, and growth over one of regret, stagnation, and low life satisfaction. So if you're a woman who is tired of attracting the same partner, dealing with constant stress, anxiety, or depression, and paying for a therapist who doesn't seem to help you enough, and you want quick, effective mental health solutions, schedule a 15-minute call with our team, and we can show you more in depth how the SoulPath operating system works. You can't buy from us on that call, even if you wanted to. We're really selective about what clients we work with and never move forward on the first call. But after our call, if this is something that seems like it might be a good fit for you, then we can definitely talk about what it might look like to work together at a higher level. I am very much looking forward to talking to you soon. Thank you for watching this video. Have a wonderful and blessed day.